You've visited Mexico many times. How do you feel about the evolution of electronic music in Mexico?
Well, that's an interesting question to start because first of all, Mexico has always been my one of my favorite destinations as an artist. I just love this country, and I have received so much support since the beginning of my career in Mexico. It's such a big country, it's so diverse, from the east to the west coast, the mountain, the desert. It's a country I really love, and of course, yeah, I got to experience the evolution of this music, and it's crazy. I think I'm traveling quite a lot. I think it's one of the biggest market in all of them. It's developing so fast, um, and for many reasons. Like first of all, as I said before, that's a big country. People love to party, and they just like have this connection to the music that is very unique. And it's probably cultural. And it makes such a big difference. So yeah, and we are in Mexico City today, and I think it's a perfect example of this evolution over the years. Mexico City reminds me a little bit what Berlin was 20 years ago. It has this, I don't know, this energy, this dynamic, this creativity, and it's lovely to see how it's developing over the years.
What does a typical workday look like for Rodriguez Jr.? How do you balance your production time, your family time, and touring throughout the week?
Well, I struggle a lot. I don't sleep a lot, but I don't need to sleep a lot. I have this chance. Um, well, whatever happened on Monday morning, I wake up at 6, get ready, bring my son to school. And then I start working in the studio, and it's all about this balance between creativity and family life, which is important because it's part of my inspiration. It's very important for me. It's probably my main motivation. And of course, the weekend is a different story. It's like switching to craziness and back to reality on Monday, and it's all this cycle every week, every week. And I like it somehow. Keeps me, healthy and inspired.
How do you know when one of your tracks is finished? Is there any key signal that tells you, like, this is it, it is done?
Well, my prediction process you know, is always a little bit painful. It's fun in the beginning, because I like, just like playing around in the studio, looking for ideas. But the end of the process is always painful. It's all about spending a lot of time experimenting, and there is a lot of sweat and tears involved. And most of the time it's basically my manager being like, "Hey, you have to send something over, and I have to let it go." And that's how it is. Um, the production techniques have evolved in such a way that it's very easy to fall in this trap of constantly, like polishing things, and it's not easy to accept that a track is over. But yeah, my management is here to remind me that it has to go at some point. It has to be released. That's how it is.
What's the point?
That's the point. Absolutely.
Okay, in a live set, there's no room for error when using analog or modular equipment. What do you do when something goes wrong during a show, and how do you handle the moment in front of the audience?
Well, there is always something going wrong. That's part of the fun, I guess. And this adrenaline is what probably we are looking for as performers. Um, yeah, I mean, I have so many crazy stories, of course. Computer crashing, crashing a cable. I mean, anything can go wrong, and that is part of the fun. It's like a rock band. Something can go wrong with the instruments, and that's how it is. And probably that's the beauty of it. What's make the moment unique, and that's beautiful, what?
Human.
Exactly. Actually, the best parties are when most troubles at your peak. Those are the best parties always.
Okay, when you use applets on live as your main DAW for performances, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how many channels do you send to the main PA mixer, and how do you manage them?
Oh, that's a very deep question. Uh, I use three channels on the mixer. So right now I'm using a Pioneer V10, which I really like because I use it as a sound card. I just have to connect my computer with one single USB cable, and I like the three channels I need. And I have one channel for the move, for the keyboard. Um, well, one channel is kind of the master channel. It's where all the core of the live is coming out, and the two other channels are used for loops, extra layers that I can add. You know, um, and there's a lot of room for improvisations. Sometimes I just like fade out the main channel and then I improvise at the drum machine and the move back to channel one. So there is like a lot of room for improvisation. I'm being like, and I'm working on a new setup for this year for 2025. That is going to be more hybrid. So I will be able to play other people's music mixed with my own music, and then I will be able to play like 4 or 5 hour sets. That's something I really wanted to develop this year.
Well, okay. Throughout your career, have you ever experienced an artistic identity crisis? How did you rediscover your essence?
Yeah, it up every year. It's like a cycle, and once again, sweat and tears. It's not easy, like being an artist. It's You have to face yourself, you have to face the audience, you have to face your business partners. So that sometimes the equation is complicated, and of course there are a lot of doubts involved. Um, and especially after so many years being in the game, like the expectation from people gets bigger, and that's something you have to face. Working in the studio, you constantly think about, oh wow, is it the right direction? Uh, is it the right decision, the right choice? And of course, it's difficult. Once again, I don't have any trick. I just keep experimenting, and sometimes I fail, sometimes it works. And as long as the feedback I receive from the crowd when I perform is okay, I just keep, going. Uh, but it's not easy. It's rough sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, it's rough sometimes. Once again, it's part of the fun, No pain, no gain. It gives and it takes.
What has been the most challenging moment of your career? How did you overcome this?
The most challenging moment of my career was probably the transition between my previous project that was called the Youngsters. Um, we were a band, we were two people. Um, so the transition between this project and Rodriguez Jr. was in 2006, and it was extremely difficult to redefine myself as an artist and find my own path, my own way, and kind of recreate a team around myself. Uh, it was very difficult to experience this moment when the phone stops ringing, when something kind of collapse. You kind of understand that there are not a lot of friends in this industry. There are very few friends. And yeah, it's been rough to, this disappointment. Oh, wow, that's the cruel reality. Everyone's gone. And I remember there was a very few people like Anya Schneider, Alf Coleman, who were like around me and helped me to kind of build this new brand as Rodriguez Jr. And yeah, rough time. 2000, yeah, 2007, 2008.
Have you ever felt like the industry is more focused on the product than the artist?
Well, I feel like it's more the opposite at the moment, especially with social. It's more about the storytelling. Um, and it's okay, but yeah, it's more about, artists showing what they eat, where they sleep, how they travel, than the music itself, And it's interesting to see how things are been slowly shifting over the years. I wish things would be more focused on the product and on the music, but it's not really the moment. Yeah, it's not really what's happening. that makes sense in a way. I remember when I was a teenager in the 80s, it was similar in a way, it was not only about the music, it was about the fashion, the identity, like your music was your tribe in a way. It's just not exactly like this now, but like the fascination about the life or of DJs and producers is definitely more important than the music itself. That's for sure. It's storytelling.
In an era where streams and variety seems more important than art, have you ever felt pressure to create something commercial? How do you deal with these expectations?
Well, it's a fragile balance because at some point, of course, when your profile get bigger, you want to please larger and bigger audiences, and you have to compromise a little bit at some point. And I don't mean it in a bad way. You don't have to change your music and your decision, but you have to make sure that everyone is happy. You know, um, I'm lucky. I'm blessed. My music has this melodic side that kind of please larger audiences. S- You know, it's not. It's not, and it doesn't sound underground. It has vocals and stuff. Um, so I don't have to think about that too much. It just happen. Uh, I don't want to be a mainstream artist. That's not my intention to play in front of 200,000 people or to play at Sphere in Vegas. That's not what I want to do.
What is your opinions on the use of new technological tools such as AI for music production?
Well, I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited. I think we shouldn't be afraid by technology. Generally, um, it's always scary in a way when something new. But it was the same thing when they invented the first the first synthesizers in the late 60s, early 70s. Musicians were afraid about like those machines that would replace them at some point, but it didn't happen. It just created new genres, and that's the beauty of it. So I think it's gonna be the same thing with artificial intelligence. I use it a little bit, not for the music, but just to for lyrics and stuff like this, or just to generate ideas. And it's great to have tools that can embrace all this knowledge, and infuse it for you. So I'm very excited about that. Very key to use it in my productions in the next couple of years. And I think it's still the very beginning of what we can accomplish with artificial intelligence.
Studio or live performance?
That's a terrible start. Wow, that's really hard. Studio.
Melodies or rhythms?
Melodies.
Analog or digital?
Analog.
Intimate show or massive festival?
Intimate.
Improvisation or blending?
Improvisation.
Thank you very much for your time.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Et grâce pour toi. Moi, je parle français aussi.
C'est vrai.
Oui.
Mais pourquoi on l'a pas fait en français alors?
Parce
Non, c'est
que
pas bon.
je
Après,
crois qu'il y a des
après
choses
ils vont
que-
plus rien comprendre.
Oui.
Hey, this is Rodriguez Jr. I'm a French DJ and music producer. Extremely happy to be here today in Mexico City. Thanks for watching.